Alright, so I'm here after the reveals and stuff, and you want to know whether you should summon for this Goku and Bardock unit. Yeah. The reveal was for sure interesting, and I'm sure everybody had super hype expectations for the reveal before it came out, but now that it's come out, maybe the execution could have been better. But regardless of how I feel and how you guys feel, maybe you feel hyped, maybe you're like in between, maybe you don't care at all. We gotta really evaluate whether this banner will be worth it, and if you're asking me if I'm summoning, I will be skipping. I usually don't skip Goku banners, but even though this is a Legends original unit, I'm not really feeling it. And I feel like the Ultra will super eclipse, and I'm talking super eclipse, this unit undeniably, including the part 1 unit, which are Beast Gohan and Evoken. The Ultra has always been the most amazing thing. We're 2 for 2 right now. I don't expect them to lose this year. We have Ultra Super Gogeta and Ultra Gogeta Blue 2021-2022. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta could be around the corner. He could be. It might not be him, but regardless of what Ultra it is, it's very likely to be super valuable. That's why I'm not summoning. I'm gonna save my Chrono Crystals. Somebody probably thinking, oh, Zach, you're a content creator, you should summon. No. Anyways, let's seriously evaluate whether this unit is good or not for the guys that do want to consider summoning, because there is a lot good about them. Just because I'm not summoning doesn't mean they're not good, but I would say for the overwhelming majority of people, it might be something that you might want to actually consider. Let's get into this video. Also, you thought the video is not starting yet. I gotta hit you with some important information. Do not skip. This is very, very valuable. The banner itself, you gotta consider what LFs are on the banner. If you're going to summon, if the units on the banner are also very rubbish, you're gonna hate the banner. And so with that, I'm going to tell you there's no 1% sparking. There's only EXs. There's going to be Legend Limiteds. Of course, we don't know what they are at the moment. But at the moment, you just got the new unit, the 2 EXs, Bardock and Frieza. And you're going to have to deal with the LFs that are on the banner. So try get the most value you can get out of it. Consider everything. Consider the teams you run. Is any teams you run going to be worth it with this unit? Or are you just going to try force them on the leader slot? Longevity wise, you got to really evaluate what you're doing with your teams. You're not a content creator. So I advise you watch showcases before you summon. I won't be doing one, but somebody will. So you should watch a showcase before you summon if you are going to summon, even though the banner, in my opinion, is overall not worth it because there's going to be an Ultra in like a couple weeks or something. And I think last but not least, bear in mind the banner is probably going to stay till the end of the festival. That's like the 20th of January. Why are you summoning now? You know, if you really want to consider whether it's worth it for you, you would probably wait until they drop the next unit, which will probably be an Ultra. Then you can decide, on top of the fact that the Beast and the Evoken banner doesn't leave until then as well. So we really got to evaluate it. You can wait. I'm pretty sure you can wait. So we're just going to go through their kit, the Goku and the Bardock, and I'm just going to point out the biggest things that you need to know about their kit. I'm not going to read through every single thing because this is not going to be a complete kit breakdown. If you want to read through every line, you can go ahead. You can see the website here. But there are important things that you need to know, such as something you probably already know, which is the indestructible new ability. But let's go into it. So what you should know is that Goku is blue and Bardock is green. Similar to how Gold Frieza have blue and purple, or purple and blue, Bardock and Goku, they have 2 different elements. So when you tag switch, you're switching elements. You're not reversing like a lot of tag units in the game. The tags they have Saiyan Son Family Team Bardock and are shared between both of them. This allows for a lot of different Zenkai buffs that you can have in between them, which is something you should very much consider when building your teams around them. Now the switchability, I think the biggest thing to note is that they gain health, but this is a lot lower than usual. I think Gold Frieza has 15%. This shortened sub count thing is very, very good as well. But this thing here, draw speed, every time you switch is very impactful. And I'm going to tell you it's very impactful. That's even lowballing it. It's super impactful because you're going to be able to tag switch a lot with this unit because of how their gauge works. So they have a unique gauge that charges, but their tag switch gauge is a different thing. So they'll be able to tag switch a lot, which allows them to get a lot more draw speed. And every time they tag switch, they get 10 timer counts of draw speed. Even though it can be cancelled, let's be real, it's not going to get cancelled consistently. And it's so easy to access because it's only through a tag switch. The Z abilities, they seemed a lot more strike based and they give special move. They got Saiyan, Game Originals and Son Family. The Game Originals, obviously, because they are a Legends original unit, they are a Bardock and Goku tag unit that doesn't exist. So yeah, bear that in mind. Blast Arm on strike, very important. Just having that consistently. This is on Goku's side, by the way. This is very, very valuable. The blue card's nothing crazy, but it does nullify endurance, obviously, because this is an LF unit. And you seal their special arts on hit, which is their green cards, I believe. And it can't be used for 5 timer counts if the blue card's close range and it has blast armor. The green card is an AoE, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Even if it's not, it can combo everything. So strike, blast, special move arts. It can't combo other greens, so that's what makes me think it's an AoE card. So that's going to be very useful in my opinion, especially for the guys that be cheesing with AoE green cards, 100%. But you get cover null from doing that. So it's 5 timer counts of cover null, you get damage inflicted and whatnot, and you're going to draw a card every time you do the AoE green. And if your gauge is full, you're going to do a bit more damage because you're going to apply minus 20% to enemy sustained damage card. Right, so we're going into the unique ability now, the first one. And something to note is that they do extra damage against Lineage of Evil, strike damage specifically. That's good for fighting Gold Frieza. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it. They get their usual buffs in the kit. Pretty much every unit has like this section here. But what to note is that their costs are very low. Very low. Every time they enter the battlefield, the switch gauge goes up by 40%. So that's going to be insane. You're filling it super fast. You're only doing 60% of the work every single time. They're going to get buffs based on every time they land a strike or blast. So this is the number of times this character's strike or blast arts have hit. So the first time, 20% damage inflicted. Second time, you get cover null. And then the third time, you do a bit more strike damage, which is dope. But that's continuous from when it's 3 or more. When cover changing, there's some buffs that apply as well, which is dope, and it weakens the enemy's moves. So you can see here the 20 timer counts for 20 timer counts, minus 10% and minus 20% to the big hitters, and then to the regular strike and blast. If you switch into Goku, I believe this says you get a blue card, even though this only activates once. This applies if the gauge is full, so just bear that in mind as well. Not the tag switch, but the unique gauge. There's a strike cover change on Goku's side. Now here's where we get into the juicy part. So here's we got the indestructible new mechanic in the game. It's basically an endurance that cannot be cancelled no matter what. And they don't lose health beyond that combo when they hit the 0. But the indestructible itself isn't that great. Simply all you have to do is stop the combo and then the indestructible finishes if their health had hit 0. But there is things around it that make it good. So you can see here, inflicts all enemies with no switching, which is going to be very impactful. Just bear that in mind. But then you're also going to destroy 2 enemy cards and ki by 50. Now these 3 in combination are deadly, because if you're getting comboed, you probably lost a couple arts cards. Like if you're in the position of doing a combo against Goku and Bardock, you probably lost a couple cards doing that combo. So maybe you have 3 or 2 cards left in your deck. Then 2 gets destroyed and you probably used a bit of ki, so you probably had like maybe 70, maybe less. So you also lose 50 ki, you got 20 or less ki. So you also can't use cards, and then you can't switch. If you did a vanish step to start that priority and then you face the indestructible, you're gonna have to stay in that battlefield. Now there is counters to this, such as main ability Rise and Rush Ripe, but you have to still be technical when dealing with this. It is counterable, but just bear that in mind that if you're actually 1v1 and you have no vanish, you might be cooked immediately, because there's a lot of things that apply afterwards as well. For example, charge the unique gauge after it's ended. This applies immediately when it pops up, I'm pretty sure, by the way. This is after it's ended. You get 50% for the unique gauge, restores on health by 50%, and it becomes type neutral to damage sustained. So that's gonna be wild. That's gonna be wild. It's gonna be very impactful. You're gonna see it play out. It already played out in the trailer, so just bear that in mind. The unique gauge, if you're wondering how it feels, is every time the character uses a tag switch. It's very easy to tag switch, because I told you it's just like every other tag switch. But when you also enter the battlefield, you get 40% off rip. And when it fills, you get these effects here. So damage inflicted, and you get a lot of nullification for things that happen to you. So your cards can't get destroyed, you can't reduce ki, and you also can't lose Dragon Balls. And this is 20 timer counts. They're all 20 timer counts. Now if they're hit with any of these big hitters, so ultimate special move Awakened Arts, you get 10% health, which activates 3 times. Your gauge goes up by 70%, which is wild. And then you get the 20% damage inflicted, which can be cancelled, but it's probably not going to get cancelled. But the 70% gauge fill, which happens every time that you get hit with a big card, is very, very wild. They're basically going to be able to recover all their health, so that's insane. Going into Bardock, there's not much different, but of course remember the fact that Bardock is green. He also has blast armor, which is just important to note. They both have explosive greens, which is also important to note. Bardock has this section in his unique ability where it says the following effects to self apply to him when the enemy switches. So he's going to get some buffs according to the enemy switching while he's comboing, which is actually important. Even if he's not comboing, if the enemy switches, these buffs will apply. So they could stack if they double cover chain. So imagine they switch once, 20%, and they switch again in that like same couple seconds, 20% again. So that could be useful. All of this can be cancelled, but just bear that in mind. And then the rest of the kit is pretty much the same. There's not any major changes that I should point out besides from the things I've already mentioned. Right, so if I was to tell you whether you should summon or not, I have to be real. You should probably not summon. You should probably not summon. The Indestructible looks very crazy, but let me break it down to you. It's not the Indestructible itself, it's what comes with it. And even with what comes with it, a lot of it can be countered. So my biggest issue is that it doesn't stop your main ability, so I can draw an ult to get my key back, and I can also Rising Rush. Those are two things that if someone with Indestructible knows you have no Vanish and you also just lost your key and all those effects are just taking place, right? I would probably just rush when they attack me instantly. So when they're coming with the strike or a blast, I would just rush. You could also hit them with a tap attack if they decide to use a blast art right in your face, which is crazy disrespectful. But it's like blast arts don't work at close range, like face to face. So if you tap them, you could beat the blast arts. Strikes, you can't. But I'm just giving you some solutions to go around the Indestructible. I'd say their biggest thing, which ironically isn't the Indestructible, I think the biggest playing card in their kit is the fact that they can switch the fastest, switch hella fast, and they're gonna have the explosive green. Those two together are gonna be insane. The combos are gonna be long. Cover no is gonna be insane. You get draw speed every time you tag switch. There's a lot of factors that go into this unit being insane. They also get that element when their gauge fills, their cards can't be destroyed, their key can't be reduced. That is very, very impactful. Imagine even a Goku Bardock fighting Goku Bardock. And let me also point out the fact that they also have the element tag switch. But those things, they're not things that you really need. It's just what makes them good. So if you do want to summon, I'm sure you can make use of them. But I feel like they might very much get power crept. I'm not going to say they're bad. They're definitely not bad at all. But I don't feel like for themselves alone on a banner with no other featured units, no 1% sparkings, the banner is very dangerous. Very dangerous. I'm not going to sit here and act like I might never summon, but I'm pushing against summoning more than anything else simply because there's not a lot of value you can get out of this banner on its own. The Goku Bardock unit is good. The element blue-green is good, but the unit doesn't have super depth. They've put a lot of stock into the Indestructible element of their kit and nothing else really. It kind of just feels like Evo Ken as well with the tag switch, and that's it. The tag switch super fast, but the Indestructible is where all they put the stock. And if the Indestructible can get worked around, which a lot of people will probably find a workaround, just like how I've explained already, this unit could easily get power crept if they also don't have the stats to back it. But their kit is not bad, I have to say that. It just doesn't feel like there's so much depth to them. There's not layers to them to the point where, wow, I know immediately I have to summon this unit. So that's just my take on it. But of course, feel free to do what you need to do, but consider what I said at the start of the video as well. So you're not going into the banners quickly just getting cooked, wasting your CC. I don't want you guys to be in the worst position. I want you guys to be in the best position, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, unfortunately, that's all there is to say. Pretty much, I'm just advising against summoning. It's not that the unit isn't worth summoning for, but they also aren't worth summoning for over other things. Like the comparison for the Ultra coming very, very soon. Just let it go, man. Let it go. If you're hyped for Bardock and Goku, go ahead, sure. But how long is that hype going to last? Are you going to be in that hype state for a long time? If so, have fun, have a blast. But me, I'd rather save my CC for something I know is 100% of value and I will 100% enjoy. Press the subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys watching the video, man. My name is Akashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.